day 3 of the Bangalore demolition drive continues, and residents of Shubh Enclave in Kasavanahalli woke up to see bulldozers and heavy machinery outside their homes. Bangalore's civic body, the BBMP, has demolished several buildings in the area for illegal encroachment over storm water drains. Now, I want to remind our viewers that like about a week ago, we saw heavy rains in Bangalore. We saw several areas in the city that were completely inundated in a manner that we've never seen happen in the city of Bangalore before. A lot of experts told us that it's because of bad urban planning. It's because there's a lot of encroachment on stormwater drains and lake beds. This is the result of that flood. Demolition drives. Residents claim that they have all of the necessary approvals and sanctions. They say that they've been paying property tax, that this was BDA land that they bought from the government, that they have stamp duty, registration, Kata papers, whatever they need. But despite all of that, the BBMP is going through with those demolitions. Our reporter, who was at the site, sent us this report.
For the BBMP, these are just shattered debris. For a lot of residents who have made this gated community their home, this is their dreams shattered. For years together, they have been living in this particular locality. But just last week, they were woken up to this rude truth by the BBMP that their residences have been constructed on stormwater drains. These residences have been built with all legal documents, sanctioned by the very same BBMP and the Gram Panchayat. Plans have been given out permission by the very same officials who are today at their doorstep to bring their residences down. After the Chief Minister ordered for all encroachments on stormwater drains to be cleared, the BBMP officials are going on a berserk demolition drive. What really angers the residents is the fact that the BBMP is carrying out these demolitions without any kind of scientific survey. They are referring to one plan one day and to another day. The chief engineer talking to us spoke about how in this particular gated community, 5 buildings have been demolished partially, 2 have been demolished completely. The people here, while agree that encroachments need to be cleared, are only asking for a chance to present their case.
See, we have already done partially 5 buildings, and 2 buildings have been demolished fully. See, these buildings are on secondary drains, numbering about 2, and then is one vacant space. So there was little ambiguity since yesterday. We came to know that operation has been stalled. That's the reason DCPs have also came here. We have inspected and instructed the concerned that our operation will go on. It has been made amply very clear by our commissioner. Apprehensions of the Residents Welfare Association and general public were addressed by him very categorically. We will continue the operation. So there are people who are coming, or voluntarily we are going to remove our structure. I think we should not read too much into it. See, what we want is either we doing it or people doing themselves. Wherever there are mistakes on giving plan approvals and all, it has been made very clear by government that concerned officer will also be punished. People should have been very, very diligent and respect law before they purchase the property. Right now, as per the direction of the Honorable Court, we are executing the orders to remove any encroachment on Raja Kaluve without any discrimination. FIRs are also being lodged against builders who have unlawfully built these buildings or developed layouts by suppressing the facts. So that's a parallel process. But our mission is to accomplish the task of removal of encroachments which are visible and which have been marked by Revenue Department. BBMP per se is not going to come and whimsically remove the structures. Without buying more time, let me reiterate, without buying more time, they should start. So we are here, our officers are also here, we have equipped, we have our own logistics to continue the operation. If need felt, we will assist and will join with them and continue it. Ultimately, a structure has to be raised, that portion.
Well, the state government of Karnataka has also turned around and said that this sort of demolition drive will continue, and officers who are guilty of giving out these permissions will be prosecuted as well. Listen in.
See, I think there is no question of sparing anybody on this issue. Wherever encroachments have taken place on the stormwater drains, definitely they will be removed, whether it's government, private, anyone, whoever it may be. And as it is, government has been on a recovery of land drive for the last 2 years. and we've recovered so many thousands and thousands of acres of land in and around Bangalore, running into tens of thousands of crores of rupees. So that was a priority then, but this, after the flooding incident, yes, there has been a lot of oversight where people have not, they've overlooked and not followed the rule of law, whether it's our officers, whether it's local people, the people of Bangalore also. So now, whoever is culpable, we have to take action. So whoever allowed this to happen also will take action. That also the government has said.
We also caught up with residents of Shubh Enclave. They say they feel cheated. They asked for the BBMP why they had approved these buildings in the first place.
All these years we have been taxpayers, both of us. Honestly, we are IT people. We are paying tax, everything. Honestly, yes. Per month, okay? All these things we are doing. Still, without our knowledge, without anything, without any notice, this thing has come up, which we are not aware, and we are very unhappy with this. If it was marked on the Saturday, yes, we would have mentally made up, okay, something is going on. But without that, around 12 o'clock, this thing has come up, which we are not happy at.
Clear discrepancy. Chief Minister has said, demolish all those flooding areas because it's a problem. We also citizens are raising the same concern as Chief Minister. We are speaking for the same voice. But what they are doing is not stormwater. You all go around this area and see what they are doing. The stormwater work, they stopped there. That was flooding that down area, and they are doing something else here. It is not this is not a stormwater related canal at all.
11 years back has purchased the land, and they have each and every document for the land.
Any of the documents show there is a stormwater drain?
No, nothing. And they have consulted the lawyer because they spent a lot for buying a land also, okay? And they have consulted a great legal team, and even they showed them the CDP map and all. And till 2015 there was nothing. It has been shown, the BD approval map thing they have shown to them when they moved to that, when they have purchased the land.
Well, on the urban debate, we are asking this simple question. Demolish homes to revive lakes. Is that what's happening in Bangalore? If you're a citizen of any of our cities, there's one thing you should remember. We've seen flooding, extensive flooding happen during this monsoon. Whether it was Gurgaon, Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai. And all of that was because of bad urban planning. Now, the question here is, should the local municipalities be going out and demolishing homes in this manner? Should citizens be paying the price for bad urban planning? Shouldn't these citizens have been given a little more notice, little benefit of doubt for having paid their taxes, for having all of the papers, for having bought that land from the Bangalore Development Authority or the BDA? Tweet us live, pick up the phone and call us, join this conversation. Bengaluru demolition hashtag, that's what we're talking about. On the show with me this evening, Brijesh Kalappa, Congress spokesperson, who joins us to talk about the point of view of the state government. Tanveer Ahmed is the national spokesperson of the JDS. Abdul Azeem is the president of the BJP minority in the state. Dr. H.C. Sharatchandra is an environmentalist and a professional. He's also the ex-chairperson of the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. And of course, Dr. V Ramchandra from the Centre of Ecological Sciences at the Indian Institute of Science joins us as well. So does Nitya, who's a citizen activist. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us on the show. Brijesh Kalappa, we just heard a citizen talk about how she has paid property tax, she has stamp duty, she has registration, she has kata, and she received no notice from the BBMP before they randomly showed up one day and demolished her home. She said, we're salaried IT people, we have no interest in cheating the government of anything. My question to you, and you're a qualified lawyer who advises many governments, is it legal to demolish someone's home, whatever the premise may be, without a notice?
No, first of all, wait, I think I should tell you what the real perspective one should be looking at is.
No, without a notice,
private rights,
my problem here is the lack of a notice, lack of any sort of...
public rights. No, one minute.
Okay, go on.
1 minute, Svay. The point is, do private rights surpass public rights? And I think public rights always outweigh private rights. And this is something which any lawyer in the country will tell you, not just me. So if public rights far outweigh what the private rights are concerned, then I think it's a fair point to make that those rights which these individuals have, and I have no doubt that they have, because these individuals, they actually, when they purchased, these clearances were given by the Gram Panchayat of that time, and the Gram Panchayat gave them clearances in 1991. Whether the Gram Panchayat knew what the consequences of their permissions were is a different matter. Again, in 2007, when these areas came under the BBMP limits, again they perhaps sought permission, and the BBMP knowing or unknowingly gave the permission. But the point is this, that a huge area in Bangalore has been flooded, and we have seen videos of them, we have seen live pictures, we have seen how
fair enough, I understand.
Public and private life completely went awry.
We had a conversation, Brijesh Kalappa, we had a conversation on this very show, you and I. We talked about how bad urban planning in all of our cities has led to flooding situations in every city this monsoon, and we've just failed to learn from our mistakes. My question to you, I'm bottling it down very simply, is this: without a notice, the BBMP has destroyed homes that the BBMP itself has collected taxes on, that the BBMP itself has provided water and electricity and sanitation to, that the BBMP itself has provided Kata papers to, without notice. Is that legal?
No, Faye, I think the point is this, that we are looking at an act of God. Generally at
this is an act of the BBMP, Brijesh Kalappa, this is not an act of God. There were bulldozers that came in and knocked down someone's home. It was not an act of God, I promise you.
Exactly, I'm saying. So, those rains, if they were an act of God, then for us to take precautions to see that supposing rain were to occur today or yesterday, and then for us to give adequate notice and then wait for the responses and then flooding to occur again, and then Faye D'Souza would have me on another show and grill me upside down and say that, look, you've completely goofed up. So not just Faye, there are other Fays waiting for us, and we have to act very cautiously, and we have to see that there is no time which elapses, and we have to see to it that individuals and citizens are not put to greater harm and greater trouble. So this is the first duty of every government, and whether it's the BJP or the Congress or JDS, it's the duty of every government. And I would say that the government has acted most instantaneously and seen to it that supposing rains were to occur at any instant, then these storm water drains which connected two major lakes, and the lakes are Kasavanahalli and Karikondanahalli lakes, and the storm water drain which connects these lakes.
Fair enough. Yeah. So here's my question. In 2015 and 2010, the BBMP demolished schools, homes, medical centers and one government office in JP Nagar near a lake twice. This is 2010 and 2015. Have those areas, have the lakes been revived in those areas? If we are talking about stormwater drains, which I'm completely on your side, I want to know if that land has then been used for stormwater drainage, if the lakes that were displaced to begin with have been revived.
No, I don't know if I don't know currently what you're speaking about, because I'm not.
I'll tell you the answer. The answer is no.
I'm not an expert
in 2015
in that area,
and 2010, the BBMP conducted 2 demolition drives in
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Those lakes have not been revived.
Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm actually telling you this. There's proof.
I don't know what the answer is. If you can ask the BBMP official.
Okay, we'll ask the BBMP official. I also want to open up this debate to the rest of our guests.
Maybe there is proof, but there is always another side. There is always another side, Faye. And it's not that, your word is the final word. There is always another side. Give me an opportunity and let you know what the other side's view is.
Okay, so I'm talking about the JP Nagar demolition drive that happened once in 2010 and the other time in 2015. I look forward to your answer. Dr. H.C. Sharatchandra, you've worked with the government, you're an environmentalist yourself. Yeah. What is your stand on this demolition drive? While we all agree that right now the entire city is paying penance for bad urban planning, should we have given these citizens more benefit of doubt? Should we have given them more notice? Should we have perhaps treated this situation differently?
Yeah, the problem of Bangalore has been increased urbanization, unplanned urbanization and corruption. That's a definite issue which has taken place. There are two kinds of issues or two kinds of developers. One, the development agency like BDA itself, encroaching the lakes and constructing houses, layouts in BDA itself. For example, Pollution Control Board office in a place called Kasavanahalli next to Card Road itself was a tank bed which was converted by BDI into an office complex. The judicial layout which is there in near Sakari Nagar is also an area called Amani Kere, which is an area. See, it's a matter of shame. A Bangalore which is at 1000 meters elevation, the water should have naturally flown out, and we are getting floods means it's simply because we have drained the natural drainage pattern which occurred. So it's definitely urban planning. Then the question comes, who is responsible for this? One, definitely the agencies responsible for giving clearances have to own up the responsibility too. Instead of telling, if I have paid tax, if I don't trust BDA papers or BBMP papers, whom should I trust?
Whom should I trust?
That parastates.
That's a very good question. Dr. Sharatchandra says that if, and this is, as any citizen of Bangalore will tell you, if I've bought the plot of land from the BDA in a BDA layout, the BDA has given me the Khata papers, that's normally what a citizen trusts. If I'm getting it from the government, it must be authentic paperwork. If I'm going to question the BDA at this point, the truth is even the BBMP doesn't have a map to go on at this point. The BBMP is using a map that is dated back to 1902. It's over 100 years old. So how is a citizen going to take the responsibility of checking the maps and making sure that this is not a lake area? Dr. Ramchandra, where do you stand on the demolition? Do you believe that the citizens have been treated fairly at this point?
Well, when I look at the kind of the problem people face in general, the public, as far as the flooding is concerned, I would say that we need to remove all the bottlenecks. Okay, all the blockages has to be removed on priority. In the process, I think the people who are, have done the mistake. Some have done deliberately. Because I work with the lakes in Bangalore, I have talked to some of the local residents. They are aware of their building sitting on the stormwater drain. The place which you are referring to, I have given a report to the government saying that what is the level of the encroachment. We have done the mapping using the remote sensing data and also the field survey. So if I have to address the problem of the flood in the city, which damages the public in general and the property, I would say that we need to clear the path of the water. If you look at the Bangalore, as Sharatchandra said, that we are on the ridge, water flows in three directions through the interconnected lakes system. Now, when you look at this interconnected system, 850 kilometers stormwater drain which are connecting these lakes, say about 350 kilometers has been increased. So now we need the thing, otherwise we are going to pay the price for this in much more.
I agree with you, Dr. Ramchandra. I agree with you that of course we need to be more responsible with our urban planning. The question is the manner in which we should approach it at this point, which we are debating at this. Tanveer Ahmed of the JDS joins us on this conversation. Tanveer Ahmed, could the government have done a better job in handling this situation?
Pretty much.
We can't really expect much from the current government. They're doing a more sincere job. And lady waiting for her daughter to come back from the dance class, and the lady and the daughter comes back and they see that the house which they were living in looks like Syria. Had they given a report, had they given a notice, at least they could have got a chance to gather whatever they have. This is ridiculous. In Kannada there is a proverb which says Yuddha Samayadalli Shastrabhyasa. During the wartime you go on a practice. This is what is the government doing. What were they doing? They were waiting till monsoon to come. They knew that these lands were on the lake bed. They knew that a lot of lands have been encroached by the bigger sharks, the land mafias. And I just want to bring it one important thing to notice. The houses which are demolished are of the hapless citizens. What is happening to those IT parks which have been constructed by the land mafias? What is happening to those big malls which have come into Bangalore? Everybody, the environmentalists who's sitting on the stage, let them really answer it. The current government has totally failed. One, with the BBMP and BDA authority, they have failed. Second, they have really treated the citizens, the poor helpless citizens of Bangalore, without any option to go. They are living in shambles. There couldn't have been a worse job. The government would have properly issued the notice saying that you are leaving on the lake bed, you have certain time to go, please leave the place. They could have at least gathered and gone to our respective places, not getting their houses demolished in this way, in this fashion. This is the worst job the government could do.
The worst job the government has done, handled the situation very badly. Abdul Azeem, do you agree that the government could have done a better job?
Yes, madam. First thing I will tell you, whenever such flooding takes place, it is the duty of the government to clear it. But the demolition, what they are doing, it is not only unconstitutional, but I can say that it is an inhuman act. For that, I will hold 3 important agencies of government responsible. One is BBMP, number 2 is BDA, number 3 the BWSSB. And one thing we must understand, since 1991, our population has gone, Bangalore city population has gone 5 times more. Migration has taken place from the rural areas to Bangalore city. And they have come in search of jobs, search of employment. You please put the question to BDA, how many sites they have farmed and how many sites they have distributed for the last 25 years. You will get the answer, where the people have to go. People started, anybody comes to any new place, first thing he will try to find out some shelter. Then he will search for food. And when the shelter is not given to them, they were depending on these land mafias. The revenue layouts have been formed and they paid the bribe to the government authorities and encroached lake land, encroached all feeding channels and Raj Kalve. As a result, this flooding is taking place. Not even a day, these government authorities convened a meeting of intellectuals and wanted to know their idea, their vision, how we can overcome this problem.
Sure.
When I contested the election in the year 2015 for parliament election, I have come out with my own manifesto. I suggested government, if I am elected, the first thing I will take up the issue to and recommend to the central government for the creation of New Bangalore. Beyond Yelahanka, between Chikbalapur and Dadbalapur.
I don't think that's what we're debating at this point. Abdul Azeem, we're talking about the lack of justice to these citizens who've lost their homes, the fact that they did not receive notices, the fact that they did not receive enough time to approach the High Court for a stay order, in the very least. Nishant and Prakash are on the phone line with us. They live in that neighborhood. They know firsthand what happened. Nishant, go ahead. The panel is listening.
I've been listening to the panel. Quickly, I want to make 3 points. First of all, I am a citizen of Bangalore, and I totally agree to what they have to say, that we need to we need to make sure that there are no floods in this city. So to the Raj Kalve issue, I would like to point out that one is the main Raj Kalve. Secondly, they have tertiary or the secondary canal. Now, what this demolition is doing is they are even targeting the secondary and tertiary canals. That is point number 2. Second is, the village, the basis on which they are doing the demolition, it is based on the 1905 village map.
Yes.
Village map when the land was agriculture, right? Right now, we have a 2005, up to 2015 CDP, which has been done more scientifically, and it is to cater to the urban society. So why are they not following the CDP, and why are they insisting on the village map? If we are to follow the village map, then the most of Bangalore has to be run through. And thirdly, I would like to point out is, I have a property for which I have got a BBMP plan sanction. I have got a BBMP occupation certificate also for it, and I've been paying the BBMP taxes also. Still, they have come and broken down my property, razed through the property without even giving me a notice. Please, there is no justification to what has been going on, and there is no scientific or accurate method in which they are doing the demolition. If in every day I have seen in my area, the markings have been changed. 3 days, from the last 4 days, this thing has been going on, and every day I have been seeing a new marking happening. So on what basis are they doing this demolition? Which maps are they following? No one is telling.
Very good question. Brijesh Kalappa, answer these questions. The fact that, and we know this, This, and I'm holding up the newspaper article in which the BBMP has accepted that they're using a village revenue map from 1902 to map out these canals and these lakes. They do not have an updated map. If they do have an updated map, they're not using it right now. That's question number one. And like we just heard, Nishant, here is a citizen who lost his home without a notice. And I keep circling back to this. Wherever my home may be, whatever your reasons may be, it is completely illegal to demolish a home without giving that person prior notice. How do we defend the BBMPs and the state government's actions here?
Wait, the first answer... No, the answer to the first question is, Faye, that this is not a matter of joy for us to break down homes. It's a matter of great pain for us, and we understand the citizens' pain. So this is the first part of it. So this is not activity which we enjoy doing. This is something which we don't enjoy doing, but we are compelled to do. For what? For the larger good. One. Two, the second part is that you're using an old map and not the latest one. To see the topography of any region, Faye, you have to look at the old map, because only the old maps will tell you where were the lakes and where was the drains to the lakes and where were the secondary canals, where were the tertiary
Brijesh
canals.
Kalappa,
Only an old
Brijesh
map will
Kalappa,
tell
Brijesh
you.
Kalappa.
If you're looking at the CDP, one minute, Faye. Well, at least
Faye, can you just put a question to Mr. Brijesh Kalappa? Where are the 100 lakes gone?
Even the CDP.
No, where are the 1,000 lakes gone, sir? If at all you are referring to the old map, let us also talk about those 1,000 lakes. In the old map, there are 1,000 lakes which are existing.
Can I come in?
Okay, Brijesh
If
Kalappa.
you are referring to the old map, please also bring that 1,000 lakes also into part of the discussion, sir.
Brijesh Kalappa, let's assume that we don't argue about whether or not, and I'm completely on board. You have my support about the fact that the urban planning in Bangalore needs to be corrected, however painful it may be. That it needs to be done. Yes, you have to look at a map that is over 100 years old to try and figure out where the lakes and canals used to be. But if we are referring to a map that is 100 years old, isn't this then a case for land acquisition and not illegal demolition? It is not this citizen's fault that there was a lake here 100 years ago, because the BDA handed out permission, the BBMP handed out permission, and they stood by their permissions for the last 99 years. If the government wants to revive those lakes, you should be acquiring that land and not breaking down people's homes.
I think you've got it completely wrong, Faye. First of all, the topography tells you what is the land mass like, right? Where are the dips? Where are the bowels? And where is the where does the land rise? So this is what the topography is. Now, when you look at the topography, you will say that look, the water drains in this manner, right? If the water were to drain in this manner, then there is a interconnection between two lakes, and now the water drains in exactly that path. Now, if those paths are blocked, naturally there will be flooding, because one area which is supposed to control
Nobody's arguing with you on that point,
is blocked, and so naturally the water spreads all over the city.
I'm completely on board. I'm completely on board about the fact that it has to be cleared up. We have to find canals for those lakes. We have to make the urban development of Bangalore more responsible. My problem is with the manner in which it is being done. The manner in which it is being done is without notices to those home buyers, to those citizens, without giving them time to move out of their homes, without giving them time to appeal against the demolition to a court. If I were to ask you, Dinesh Gundarao, to take off your politician cap for a second and put on your lawyer cap, as a legal, Brijesh Kalappa, if I were to ask you, Brijesh Kalappa, as a legal advisor, advise these citizens, what would you advise them to do? Wouldn't you advise them to approach the High Court for a stay order? Wouldn't that be the normal advice that a lawyer would give?
Immediately, I think the citizens, certainly the citizens should approach the court. And
but if they don't have notice, they're not going to have enough time.
What the government has done is... No, but look at it from the government's point of view, Faye, that supposing the government were to issue notices and the matter was stalled in court and there were flooding again, then hundreds of other individuals would be involved. So look at it from the government's point. There has to be
as a legal practitioner, do you agree that is the right way to go? Aren't you then impeaching on these people's rights? Brijesh Kalappa, I understand the greater good, But as a practitioner of the law, isn't this unfair to those people's rights?
Can I come in?
No, unfair or not will be decided by a court. What if I do say that it is unfair, but is it going to take the matter further? It doesn't take the matter further.
Nitya, as a citizen and an activist, Nitya, what is your reaction as a citizen to the manner in which this demolition drive has been handled so far?
You know, in short, this is appalling. Every citizen over here, I mean, let's assume we do not talk about those that have deliberately encroached, okay? Given that, majority of the people will agree that we all want good urban planning. We all want all open Rajakalu ways, and we all want water to drain properly. It's not as if it's a citizen versus government issue at all. In fact, repeatedly it comes, you know, I've heard this other panelists talk about the government's point of view. Let's not forget that the government is on the citizen's side. The citizens elected the government. So we are all on the same side. There is no two points of view here. There's only one point of view. And that point of view is the betterment of the people. So trying to say that we are trying to preempt Chennai-like flood and prevent an act of God. Instead, before that, we are doing an act of BBMP itself and causing hardship to a lot of people. This is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, if the intent of the government were genuinely to actually create a situation that is not a danger to the citizens, they would take preemptive action a long time ago. And even if the intent was to say better late than never, let's wake up now, wouldn't the first order of business be that you haul up all those people that gave the permissions to these people and say, you know what, let's prosecute them first before we go and affect families and homes. And if indeed encroachment of all of these things, these stormwater drains, etc., were such a big deal, we are showing you encroachments right now. I mean, how long has it been? I mean, Professor Ramchandra is over here. Repeatedly, we've been asking for a survey of Vartur Lake, which is the one that we are next to. You know, it's been 3 years and the survey is still not complete. Okay, and they say, well, there's an encroachment, there's not an encroachment. Why don't you take care of that right now? Before homes come up and you go up and demolish those homes without notice. So I can tell you unequivocally that citizens around the area are simply appalled and simply look at this as an act of intimidation by the government. That's all.
Well, that's a very fair point, and I want to make this very clear on this panel. We are not debating whether or not the lakes need to be revived. We are not debating whether or not Bangalore deserves and needs more responsible urban planning and whether this is a job that needs to be done. We are debating the manner in which the government is going about doing it. Prakash is on the phone line. Prakash is a resident who also lost his home. Prakash, thank you for holding on. I kept you on the phone line for long. Go ahead. Tell us what your experience has been.
Yeah, thanks for providing the opportunity. See, I have a couple of legal points which I'm looking for, and still we have not got the answer. And I would request the experts sitting over there, activists, not to interrupt me and try to provide me the justice. The first thing is, they have not provided any notification at all. So, so that is the first thing. Second thing is, see, an year back they came and they demolished my compound and they said, this is it and you're not going to touch the house, your house will be safe. We have already taken your 4 feet of the constructed area. And, you know, last Friday they came without any notice. They just did the marking somewhere in the evening, I believe. That's what the people over there they said. And next day morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, they got up, they bring with the JCB and they started demolishing the house. And no, and they didn't give any notice and tenants were there. They have to run. They didn't give any time to take out their belongings from there. And the worst part is, you know, they said already that we have given them 4 feet. They said, okay, as per the rule, you need it, you take it and just leave our house. But after that, they have taken another 15 feet. Now, totally it's more than 15 feet they have completely demolished. And we have, nothing. It's completely not livable at all. Don't you think this is a criminal act? It's a brutality from the BBMP. It's such a criminal act. We are not getting any response from them. You know what? Please don't interrupt. I have to complete. I have asked this question to the chief engineers over there. I tried to ask the same to the commissioner, and he just walked out. He didn't say anything. He just walked out when I asked it. See, this is what happened. You have completely taken out my house. It's not livable. There's cracks everywhere. What I supposed to do? No compensation, nothing.
All right. Thank you, Prakash, for sharing our story. Brijesh Kalappa, respond to the citizen. I'm not going to interfere or editorialize in any way. Just respond directly to a citizen of Bangalore.
Yeah, I think the story he's told us is an agonizing story. It's extremely sad to hear that this kind of an event had to occur. But the first thing I would advise as a lawyer is for him to approach the court and seek compensation under the Land Acquisition Act 2013. Because under the Acquisition Act, because if some land has been taken, which is private land, then surely he ought to get a compensation. And whether it's compensated or whether the court eventually feels that the action
but
of the BBMP
he's lost his home
wrong,
already, Brijesh Kalappa. He's lost his home already. We're talking to people who've lost their homes. And you're dodging the fact that demolishing someone's house, whether that person lives in a slum or at the side of the road, or that person is actually holding papers handed to them by the BBMP, demolishing a house where there is a resident in that house at the time of demolition is illegal without a notice. You are as aware of it as I am. What the BBMP has done is a completely illegal act. Let's stop circling that point and accept it. What they have done is illegal. Tanveer Ahmed.
Absolutely, very, it is not only illegal, it is inhuman. They could have really given a notice much prior to the monsoon. We all know that, the land, a lot of land has been encroached here in Bangalore. The lake beds have been encroached. So they should have really acted much ahead of time before the monsoon came. The residents calling and talking about their experiences is very, very painful. The government has, on all the ways, whether it is farmers, whether it is police, everywhere the government has acted very, very inhumanly. I think it is high time the government need to really talk about the people and their problems and give a solution which is permanent solution rather than just going and demolishing their houses.
There should be a permanent solution. Abdul Azeem?
I am in Bangalore for the last 30 years. I have worked as a police officer and also I was the Legislative Council member. I know this problem. Flooding will take place in Bangalore from time to time. But the thing is, the beauty of Bangalore, whenever flooding takes place, the stagnant water will not remain more than 24 hours or 48 hours.
That's not the point, Abdul Azeem. The point is whether or not the demolition was illegal. The point is whether or not the demolition was illegal.
I don't think Mr. Azeem is making a right statement. I don't agree on the statement, Mr. Azeem.
I already told you it is inhuman, unconstitutional, but the thing is at the same time we should know the solution also. So I would like to make a final suggestion. Our authorities are fully aware.
All right. After which I want to go to Dr. Sharatchandra and Dr. Ramchandra for solutions. Okay, go ahead. Dr. Sharatchandra.
Can I come in?
Yes. Let's all accept that this is a job that needs to be done. Dr. Sharatchandra, what is the right way to do it?
See, it's a very sorry state of affair. If BBMP says they have a 100-year-old map and they are doing it, that simply reflects how lack of coordination between the civic agencies in Bangalore. I know because I was part of that project. Australian Aid prepared a complete drainage map of the then Bangalore City Corporation area, a very detailed map showing primary. So I don't know what happened to it.
So there was a detailed map that we have misplaced or lost, Dr. Sharatchandra? We seem to have lost that connection. Dr. Ramchandra, I know that you've been doing a lot of research on the canals and the lakes of Bangalore.
See, as Sharatchandra mentioned, the data is available. Let us make this data available to the public. See, just if you overlay that data on Google Earth, even common man can make out whether they are on the encroachment or whether they are on the legal land.
Is it fair for the government to be using, Dr. Ramchandra, is it fair for the government to be using a map from 1902?
Well, that is the reference map, that there is nothing wrong. It is developed based on the topography. I have used that map, and also I am using today latest state-of-the-art technology, remote sensing and GIS, and there is no variation in these two. So we need to understand the the kind of damages that has happened in the system. A lot of people have paid the price for the flood and all. See, the couple of every year somebody get killed or the children get into the manhole in the flood. All these things, people are paying heavy price. We need to take a stern action. I think we need to re-establish.
So here's my problem. Here's my problem with this entire situation. First of all, the manner in which the government has dealt with it, without giving people time, without giving people notices, which means they have, and the government has accepted they've done this so that nobody has the time to approach the courts. That's problem number one. Problem number two is, if we have this map that we're happy to use, why isn't this map public? And I'm reading a statement made by BBMP Commissioner N. Manjunath Prasad to the Indian Express, where he said, we will upload a list of encroachers on our website. We will upload the map onto the website soon. If we have the map, why isn't this information public? Why aren't we giving people the opportunity to react to this information? Dr. Ramchandra, if we can, of course, if you're saying that the map is usable, my question is the manner in which it is being used.
That is what we have to demand the government. See, and second thing is, all these politicians who are there on the panel, I ask them to stop politicizing the issue. Let them give the solution. As a Bangaloreans, we demand the solution. We need the transparency in the administration. Let them come up with that. Let them have a coordinated the governance, irrespective of which party they are there. Let them stop accusing the thing. See, we are paying the heavy price. I think we should stop listening to this all the senseless argument. We want solution, and I would demand the solution on priority, because the technology has improved. Let us have the solution. Let them take the advantage of the state-of-art technology and also the expertise that is available in the city. Let them govern the city much more better than any other.
That's a very good point, and that's the other point I want to toss over to Brijesh Kalappa here. Obviously, if we have to reach this point, they were members of the BDA, the Bangalore Development Authority, who were corrupt, who were encroaching over these canals and these lakes. They were members of the BBMP who were handing out permissions and collecting property tax and water tax on these encroachments. And finally, let's accept, like you said, that there are residents who occupied these homes. Why is it that the residents are the only ones who have been punished up till now? When are we going to find out who was responsible in the BBMP and the BDA? Why didn't we start by punishing those offenders first?
There is a high-level committee, which has been appointed. There has been a high-level committee which has been appointed, and it is headed by the Secretary of Karnataka. This blame which has to be apportioned will be apportioned. There is a detailed inquiry which is on, and in a short while you will know who exactly has been responsible for this impasse, and you will also know that there is a definitive action which is being planned against them, and those guilty persons will not be allowed to go scot-free.
Brijesh Kalappa, you're giving me a very vague answer. You're saying things like short while, and you're saying definitive and brief period. Can you tell me how much time is going to take for this investigation? What is the punishment that these people will receive, at least from within the government? Will they be arrested? Will there be FIRs filed against them?
No, I think you ask the chiefs. You ask the Chief Secretary. I think he should be able to tell you best. I don't know what how long he's going to take, or who else is involved in the exercise. But you can ask the Chief Secretary. I think he will be able to tell you best.
We will ask the Chief Secretary that question. In the meantime, we have citizens of Bangalore who are calling us right now. Remember that the BBMP and the BDA officials are being given time to find lawyers and to approach the courts. It was a benefit that that was not made available to citizens right now. I want to go back at this point to Nitya. Nitya, as a citizen, we keep circling back to the same thing, that there's immense corruption in the system and somehow not enough accountability.
Faye, all these arguments that are being put forth by those that are in favor of this demolition, which say that it was the Gram Panchayat that gave the permission and the right people will be brought to order, etc. Look, we are citizens. We elected some representatives and others are appointed by the bureaucracy. Whether they function or don't function amongst themselves, that's their problem and they've got to fix it. If Gram Panchayat gave permission and it was the wrong permission, or if the BDA gave the permission, it was due to corruption, and now you're going to wake up and find somebody that gave the permission 20 years ago, that is a problem of the government. It's not a problem of the citizen. And to penalize a citizen so abruptly in such a harsh manner is absolutely appalling, and it only reflects how the current government is actually working. And we don't care, by the way, whether it's a Congress government or a BJP government. We're completely non-partisan. We can only reflect on the current state of affairs and say it's appalling that in 2016, where around the world people have bought and sold land and properties, and people understand how to get title to a property and have ownership to a property that's legalized and can trust papers that are given by the government. Here in IT city in Bangalore, Silicon City, we are sitting in a situation where even a high-tech MNC company that could suddenly be said, you're sitting on a Raja Kaluwe and now, 20,000 of you employees have to find a new home. That could well be the answer. Who's safe? Nobody is safe.
Nobody is safe. And I want to bring this out. Karnataka Legislature Assembly Speaker KB Kolivat, who chairs the Joint Committee on Tank Encroachment in Bangalore, came forward and said he recommends the dismissal of officials in the BBMP and other departments who sanctioned these plans, who issued the A-Khatas for these structures that encroached on the stormwater drains and the lake beds. So this statement has been made by the government. That should have been done first. Somehow we're giving these people enough time to find legal help and to find legal advice. We're giving these people enough time to approach the courts. We haven't given the citizens that same benefit. Dr. Ramchandra, shouldn't the citizens have been given some benefit of doubt?
I would say everybody has to be taken into this task. The babus and the politicians, they have the hands in glove. That is the root cause of the problem. You come to Vattur area even today, I will show you the large scale encroachment is happening in the thing. Stormwater drains are being encroached. When we point it out to the government and the bureaucracy, they ignore it. And then at the end, the people, common man who buys this apartment, they have to pay the price. I think this kind of senseless governance, I think we should put an end to that. We should demand for a better governance in the city.
Yes,
the people who are...
What Dr. Ramchandra has said right now is exactly the point of the whole conversation. We are showing you encroachments today. Why are you not addressing that right now, waiting for a house to be built, and for 20 years later, it's like saying you'll put a one-way, and instead of putting the signs in front of the one-way, you'll put a policeman at the end of it in order to take a fine. This is ridiculous. This is cheating the public.
Actually, the policeman at the end of it is demolishing cars. Nitya, he's not just collecting fines. It would have been a different thing if they were just collecting fines from these residents, but they're knocking down their homes without warning. Dr. Ramchandra, tell me this.
How backward it is.
Tell me this. If we look at the Whitefield and the Vartur areas right now, where most of the lakes really were, and we can remember in our lifetimes, we can remember lakes in those areas. How many fancy IT companies, how many big malls, how many massive townships have been allowed to come up on those canals in the last 10 years?
Right. If you look at the density over here, and if you look at the high rises over here, if you look at the water availability here, and if you look at the...
No, I actually want names. I want Dr. Ramchandra to answer this question. I know you're studying the area. Who's been giving permissions lately to build on top of canals in the Vartur and the Whitefield area? Dr. Ramchandra.
No, I'll tell you we have done the study of the lakes in Bangalore. 97% of the lakes have been encroached. We have also pointed out who are responsible. See, my institute is in Malleshwaram. That area also gets flooded. It is just because of one of the builder has encroached this one. You call that as a famous mall in the region. Because of that, Rajajinagar gets flooded. We have pointed this out to the government. All these politicians who talk about all the welfare of the people, they completely ignore the thing. When I wrote the letter to the government and to the BBMP about the thing, I rather got a threatening call from the builder than the solution to the problem. This is about 10 years back. Even today, the situation is worse. It has gone to the worst, from the bad to the worst. I think when the common man start demanding the solution and a better governance, we can put an end to all this kind of illegal act of the bureaucracy as well as the politicians who are ruling the region today.
Any citizen of Bangalore who's watching this show right now should be very, very, very upset with your government. If we listen to what Dr. Ramchandra is telling us, here is someone from the Indian Institute of Science who's been battling for the city of Bangalore for 10 years, reduced to writing letters to the government and receiving threatening phone calls from builders who are encroaching on lake beds, who are encroaching on canals. Somehow the government only found time and intention to punish average citizens who are paying tax. It could be your home tomorrow, it could be my home tomorrow. There's no way of telling because there is no map that is available to us. There is no way of trusting the BDA or trusting the BBMP because every piece of paper that you've received from either of these government organizations is rubbish. Tomorrow, those same people will wind up in front of your house and demolish it at 8 in the morning while your children are still in their beds, saying that you're suddenly illegal. Because like Brijesh Kalappa just accepted on this show, the reason why they're doing it is because they do not want to give you enough time to approach the High Court. They do not want you to get a stay order because then they can't demolish. Brijesh Kalappa, go to Baleshwaram and demolish them all. Go to Whitefield and Vartur Lake and demolish everything there that we know people have paid lakhs and lakhs of money to get their permissions for. Leave these little poor citizens alone. Give me the justification for how anybody in Bangalore can go to bed tonight and put their children to bed in their homes, trusting that their homes will be there at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. There is no way of knowing. Paying property tax is not good enough. Getting my Kata papers are not good enough.
Hey, first of all, don't...
No, tell me how. Tell me how I know tonight when I go to bed that my house will be there tomorrow morning in Bangalore. Tell me how. Tell me how to check. I will check.
Hey, first of all, I don't think you should work yourself up. This is not Arnab Goswami's show. So let's be a little fair and let's do it in the
Brijesh
proper
Kalappa,
fashion.
I'm a citizen of Bangalore. I own a home in Bangalore. I want you to simply tell me how can I check if my home is legal?
No, you may be fair. I'm also a citizen of Bangalore.
Okay, tell me how
I'm
you will
also
check
a
if your
citizen
home
of
is
Bangalore.
illegal.
So don't give me this, please. Let's have a reasoned conversation here.
Let me ask you this calmly.
Let's have a reasoned conversation here.
How do I know if my home is legal
as far as the Indian National Congress is concerned, we have stopped going Arnab Goswami's show. So if you want us to stop going on your show, we'll do that also. If you're going to have a recent debate, let's do a recent debate.
Okay.
Let's not work ourselves up unnecessarily.
Okay. Oh my God. Let's ask this question calmly. Let's ask this question calmly.
Mentality, Mr. Kalappa. This is an escapist mentality.
See, the first thing is,
you just wound a person and then put a
you
salt
might think
on
of
top
it as an escapist mentality. Then how do you escape the fact? How do you escape the fact that you have a deputy mayor in the corporation and you're speaking against the corporation? Why don't you exit the corporation? What kind of attitude is this?
Sir, you have the chief minister, you have the Bangalore development minister, you have
Don't make this about politics. I'm not interested in politics. Dr. Sharatchandra. Gentlemen, do not yell at each other.
Responsibility.
The JDS has a deputy mayor.
Dr. Sharatchandra, I have only one question before I wrap up this show. Dr. Sharatchandra, how do I know if my home is legal in Bangalore? How can I check? Dr. Sharatchandra, tell me, how do I check and make sure that my home that I have papers for, that I'm paying taxes for, is legal?
No,
that's all I want to know.
Let me answer this question.
I will tell you as chairman of pollution.
No, let Dr. Sharatchandra answer this question. Brijesh Kalappa, I asked you the question, you refused to answer it. You refused to come on my show.
No, but you asked me the question, you didn't allow me to complete.
Dr. Sharatchandra is answering the question. Dr. Sharatchandra, go ahead.
Madam, it's a matter of great concern.
He's not in government fair. You want my answer, you want somebody else's answer.
Brijesh, I am answering. Please don't interfere for a minute.
Mr. Kalappa answer the question, please. Let Mr. Kalappa answer the question.
Comprehensive development plans are supposed to be available.
Get a proper answer.
The plans are supposed to be available in public. That is what Dr. Sharatchandra is telling us. Brijesh Kalappa, I have a minute left on this show. Please use the platform, speak to your citizens, tell them how to check and make sure their homes are legal.
See, first of all, Faye, what has happened has not happened to 99.999% of Bangalore citizens. This has happened to a very, very small fraction of citizens. And everybody knows that there are dishonest officials. And if dishonest officials have given, prepared these papers for these citizens, it's just, something which has to be found out, and there has to be a due process to find this out. And the government is doing that. And where it is found that these papers are completely transparent and completely legal, then there will be adequate compensation which will be given to them. Supposing the government has acted in an invalid, unconstitutional manner, the government will be pulled up. Beyond this, what can we say? As a government representative, I'm telling you this.
Brijesh Kalappa, I just want to know, as a citizen, how do I ensure, is there a manner in which I can make sure that the papers that I have received from government agencies are not fudged, they are not faulty, and my home is actually legal? That is a very simple question that I'm asking. Is there any way to tell?
No, but so long as you have dishonest officials, how can you make sure of that? We have dishonest officials.
So as a citizen, I have no way to find out whether my paper was signed by an honest official or a dishonest official.
Can anybody say that there are no guilty officials?
No, but see, as a citizen, if I have a Khata paper, how do I know who gave me this Khata paper?
99.999% are good papers. So, see, only one, very few, like I said, there have been demolitions of 2 houses only.
2 houses
only
are enough, Brijesh Kalappa. Those 2 houses are also of citizens.
Demolished, like the parapet wall and so on and so forth. So this is in the entirety of Bangalore, only 2 houses have been demolished. And certainly to take care of Bangalore
that's not
citizens,
fair information.
That's
not fair information. I'll tell you that there have been 100 houses that have been demolished.
There would not be
compound walls. 100 houses have been demolished. Not all of them entirely. Some of them partially. Some compound walls. Some side walls. We're looking at footage. There's footage running on your screen,
because
Brijesh
the truth
Kalappa.
is only 2 houses have been demolished.
Brijesh Kalappa, there's footage running on your screen. I'm running footage from this morning.
No, of course, footage doesn't tell you anything. You know as well as I do that footage doesn't tell you anything. Footage doesn't tell you anything. The only thing that is true is that 2 houses have been demolished. One is a business structure and the other is a residence. And beyond that, some parapet wall is gone, some garage is gone, but the entirety of the house has not been touched.
Brijesh Kalappa, I have to unfortunately wrap up this show, but we will continue the show over the next couple of days because I want to be able to reach a proper conclusion on this show where we actually are able to communicate to the citizens of Bangalore some sort of useful information where they can tell, they can check. There's a map which can be referred to. I'm going to ask Dr. Ramchandra to also make a map available online if it's possible, Dr. Ramchandra, so as citizens we can know whether our homes are actually legal or not, because that is the big problem. That's the big question at this point. I have to wrap up this discussion, but I'm not happy. I don't know if the citizens of Bangalore are happy. I'm going to put up contact details on your screen so you can get in touch. We'll continue this conversation. Stay with Magicbricks Now.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MagicBricksNow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at MagicBricksNow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/MagicBricksNow.